Monday, September 1st. How are you? How are you doing? How's your week started? Some of you, I know it's already the second day of the week, but how are the rest of you doing? If you're in the U.S., happy Labor Day to you. Today is one of the big holiday weekends here in the U.S. Every first Monday of September is a big Labor Day weekend for us. So if you're in the U.S. and you're celebrating, hope that you're doing well. So many things that are crossing my mind right now because, we're in a new week, we're in a new month. We have to recognize that we are now in the last 4 months of the year. So, what are you going to do? What are you going to do between now and the end of the year? It's really easy to write off 2025 and say, I'll do that in 2026. I'll do that next semester. I'll do that next quarter at work or whatever, right? Nobody's hiring during the last part of the year. I'll wait to look for another job later. All those things that go through our mind, right? What are you doing? You still got 4 months left. September, October, November, December, still plenty of time. A third of the year is still available to us, right? So what are you doing? What are you doing to get ready for that? What are you doing to improve yourself, to finish the year strong, to set yourself up for next year, right? If you want to do big things sometimes require a lot of pre-planning. So what are you doing now in 2025 to make sure that you're going to have a great 2026? You have a plan for that? You should, right? So let me know that you're out there. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know what you're working on. It just feels like a new start today, because, like I said, it's a new week, new month, 4 months left toward the end of the year. It seems like a good way to just kind of keep motivating yourself and say, hey, I'm going to keep moving forward. I'm going to finish the year strong, and see what you can do with the remaining part of 2025. Casual Economist, such a great supporter. Thanks for being here, friend. Casual Economist is saying, Dennis, hey to you too. Happy Labor Day. I know you're in the U.S. I know that, well, I'm assuming you have the day off. At least I hope so, unless you're doing Uber or DoorDash today or something. Hopefully you're having the day off and having a good day. I hope having a good Labor Day weekend. On my end, it's been a little slow on the client side. I think a lot of my clients are taking the time to celebrate the holiday and have a good time. So that's always a good, positive thing. But for me, I'm always working, guys. Always working. Always something to do with content. When it's a holiday for me, it doesn't mean it's a holiday all over the world. So a lot of people will still write and still comment and still ask me questions. So it's a work day somewhere, right? It's a work day somewhere in the world. Casual Economist says, last day of the state fair. I'm going to go get a pork chop on a stick. Oh my gosh, is that still going on? That is a long fair. It's funny how that differs, because I've lived in Nevada. Well, I lived in California. I lived in Texas. I lived in Nevada. In Nevada, we have a fair, but it's only I think 4 days, like a Thursday to Monday type of thing. In Texas, it's a huge deal. I think out there, it's I want to say at least 4 weeks. I want to say 6 weeks. So Casual Economist, geez, it feels like you first told me about the fair a long time ago, and it's still going on. And I think I told you, Casual Economist, I saw a piece on the news about it. Some of the musical artists, and they showed the stage. They got a big stage there. So I hope you're going to have a good time out there. Stay hydrated. I have a feeling that it's going to be kind of warm. So stay hydrated out there. But a pork chop on a stick, that sounds delicious, actually. It sounds delicious and very carb conscious. They say that pork is a good meat if you're on the carnivore diet, or, if you're watching your carbs. So good for you, Casual Economist. Let me know how that goes. I've never asked you if you have kids. I'm assuming you're taking your kids or somebody. So good for you. Oh, okay. Casual Economist. That's great info. Minnesota has the second biggest fair next to Texas. Okay. Well, that makes sense, Casual Economist, because that means it's been going on for at least 2-3 weeks. I think that you last told me about it. So yeah, it makes sense that it would be a longer one. For those of you who don't know, Texas is famous for having a large state fair. They do it in Dallas, and they have a dedicated fairgrounds just for the fair. Like that's all it does. Well, they have other events throughout the year, but they have an area of the city that's just for the fair. It's a very big deal. So for casual economists to say that Minnesota has the second largest, that's saying something, because Texas is absolutely a very large state fair. So yeah. Oh, so good for you, casual economists. I hope you have a good time out there. Let me know how it goes. Send me a picture of that pork chop. I think we're connected via DMs on Instagram. So send me a picture of that pork chop. Ours is only 10 days. Yeah, but casual economists, that doesn't explain why you asked for 15 days from your employer, though. Texas cheats and goes for like 4 weeks. Yeah, the Texas one I know for a fact is at least a month. And I wanted to say it was 6 weeks. I think it might have been 6 weeks prior to the pandemic, because that's when I lived in Dallas. I lived in Dallas prior to the pandemic. So casual economists, the reason they do that is, one, because Texas is a big state. I mean, if you want to come from some parts of Texas and go to the state fair, like it's more than just a day trip. It is a significant amount of travel. And two, most people don't realize how many people from like Oklahoma or Mississippi or New Mexico come over to Texas, right? So I think they keep it open just to have all of that traffic from the other states. Kansas, a lot of people from Kansas come to Dallas, right? So I think that's why, because they're trying to just get more people to be able to visit. But yeah, that was one of the things I was surprised at, that Dallas gets people from all over, like all over. So I lived in Dallas for 2 years, never doing that again. That was a mistake on my part. But yeah, hope you have a good time at the fair there, casual economists. I imagine it's going to be packed, right? I mean, because I'm assuming this is the last weekend. You said it. Okay, you said it's the last day. So all the people who didn't get to go before, you might have to shove some elbows to get to the front of the line of that pork chop line. So good luck with that. Casual economist says you didn't like Dallas. So casual economist, I love the company I was working for, and I love the people I was working for, like my colleagues and stuff. I had a good colleague circle. But Dallas itself and the other people outside of that circle, nah, wasn't for me. To me, Dallas is highly overrated. Yeah, I just didn't like it. It's a very kind of a scummy city in many respects. Yeah, I just wasn't for me. Another thing too is that I gave Dallas too much credit for being a West Coast state, or like more of a Western state, and it's really not. Texas is a lot more of a Midwest state than I gave it credit for, and that goes for Dallas also, right? So yeah, I just didn't really have a lot of good experiences there. One of the good experiences I did have in Dallas, though, was I did get to go to a concert. I got to go see the Smashing Pumpkins in Dallas during their last tour, during their last big tour. That would have been like in 2019. Yeah, 2019. And that's where I got this album here. They re-released Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness on vinyl. So I did buy that, and it's still in its like original wrapping. I haven't opened it because that's like awesome. So that was like a positive highlight of being in Dallas, that I did get to go to see them, and I had great seats for that show. But otherwise, I just didn't have a lot of positive experiences in Dallas. I just didn't think it was that great of a city, kind of plain. Dallas is like the king of every franchise restaurant you've ever heard of or been in. Terrible customer service in Dallas, like the people there just don't know customer service. So yeah, just didn't like it. We'll call you 99, I think is the last part of your name. So 99, welcome, glad you're here. I think it's your first time. So 99 says, I'm a master's student and my domain is data science. I've been looking for jobs and internships. Can you tell me something special not many people know regarding ways one needs to apply? 99, I think you're looking at it the wrong way. It's not about an unlock to applying, it's about improving your own skills. What are the gaps in your skills as a data professional that's keeping you from getting a job? You're looking for a secret. You're looking for a keyword, and that's why you're not getting a job, because you're looking to game the hiring process. You're not looking to be a better candidate. There's a difference there, right? You can game the process, or you can just be a better data professional. One takes longer, but that also leads to a better career, right? So 99, appreciate the question, but I think you got to shift your frame of reference there. You're looking for an unlock when the answer is within you, right? Casual Economist says, I might have to check out Dallas. I like the Midwest. Yeah, Casual Economist. So I was coming from, like, growing up in LA, living in Las Vegas, going to Dallas. Somebody like you coming from Minneapolis might find that transition, or Minnesota, I can't remember if it is Minneapolis, but might find that transition easier, because I think it is a lot more Midwest than it is a Western state. It's very Midwest. The houses, the people, the companies, the environment, right? It's a lot more Midwest than I had personally given it credit for. Because I will say, I moved there without having any experience with Dallas. Obviously you hear positive things about Dallas, but I had never actually visited, at least not for an extended time, maybe did like a layover or whatever. But I'd never really actually been there. So I think that you would find that transition much more easier from a state like Minnesota versus, me coming from the West Coast. Because really, I've lived in Dallas and I lived in New York in the past. Well, all of that's happened within the past 3 years, 4 years, 5 years actually. And it's just taught me that I'm a West Coast guy. I'm a West Coast guy. I went to school on the East Coast, or, the Mid-Atlantic technically. So Casual Economist, do you like the East Coast? I think it's okay. I like visiting there. I like the vibe. I like the restaurants. There's a lot of aspects of New York that I did enjoy, but it's not for me living there, right? I mean, I'm glad I lived there for 18 months, and then I came back to Vegas. And I'm fortunate that I had that experience. No regrets about the experience, right? I get to say that I worked in New York. I can speak from a position of knowledge, right? Like, I wasn't just a visitor. I was there, and I'm glad I had that experience. But it's not for me. It's not for me. I visited New York plenty of times before, and I enjoyed those visits. Had great time. So I think some cities like that are just visiting cities. I went to school in D.C. I lived in the greater D.C. area for 6 years. Glad I did that. It was a big risk on my part because I had never been on the East Coast prior to that. But again, I wouldn't live there again. It's a nice area, but the vibe isn't for me. And that's okay, right? Casual Economist says, I love visiting NYC, but haven't lived there. Yeah, I mean, and New York City is fun. I mean, I definitely don't want anybody to think that I'm bashing New York City. So it's great. I mean, I had some great experiences there. I met some cool people. I commuted back and forth into Manhattan in a Porsche, so that was always interesting. But there's a lot of downsides to it. It's very crowded. There's a lot of traffic, and there's a lot of traffic like all the time. But yeah, I mean, great restaurants, people from all over the world, which also has its pluses and minuses. But yeah, just wasn't for me. That's all. No regrets. But I think I'm happier here. My dog's happier here on the West Coast. Actually, Casual Economist, just yesterday I was thinking to myself how, I'm a routine person. And one of my routines is I go to the dog park every single day with my dog. Every single day we go to the dog park. And I do that for him too, because, that dogs need routine so they know when they can go to the bathroom and when they're being fed and all that. So that's something that I did with him from day one. And Like I rarely miss a day. We are always at the dog park. And I had gotten away from that in New York because you really can't do that in New York. There's not a lot of dog parks. The dog parks aren't very good. It takes you an hour to get there. I mean, it's just a pain in the butt, right? So I missed having that type of routine. So I didn't like New York for things that were maybe just part of me and my routine, but just wasn't for me. All right, so 99 says, I've been doing GitHub, Kaggle, what more to do? Also, in this fast-paced AI data, what skills would be surviving? 99, you're not listening, my friend. GitHub, Kaggle, that's just following the crowd, right? Why are you doing the same thing everybody else is doing? So 99, I don't understand how you can say, hey, I'm doing everything that everybody else is doing, but I'm not getting noticed but my resume is not getting special attention. Let me say that again for you. Hey, I'm doing all the things that everybody else is doing, but I want to know why my resume is not standing out. You see the difference? Like, do you see where I'm going with that? Like, you can't be surprised. So 99, let me know if that's helping you. Like if this is connecting. But like, you're asking why you don't have a job when you're doing what everybody else is doing. Like the answer is there, right? Like it's right in front of you. You're doing the same. You're working from the same Kaggle data set that like literally tens of thousands of people work on, and then you're saying, Dennis, why am I not standing out? Why is the job process so difficult? The answer lies within, right? So, anyways, yeah, casual economist, New York City, beautiful. Another thing that's really nice about New York City is that it's really convenient for European travel. I got to go, to a lot of places in Europe, Africa. I mean, you can be in Africa like in 6 hours from New York, like 5 hours. Like people don't realize that, right? Like New York to LA is just as long as like New York to Morocco, right? Or well, I don't know where else you would fly, but like it's like not, it's very close, right? Wow, didn't know that. Yeah, yeah. So I don't think people realize that. I mean, and New York to London obviously is like what, like 6 hours, 6.5 hours, something like that, right? So yeah, so that's another thing I did like about New York. Super convenient for travel, and I think the Newark airport gets a lot of negative press. I personally have always had great positive experiences with New York airport. I lived in a part of New Jersey where an Uber to Newark airport was like 15 minutes, like 20 minutes if there was traffic. So I've flown out of Newark plenty of times, and I've had nothing but positive experiences out of Newark. So JFK, not so much. JFK is kind of a crappy airport. Never had bad experiences there, but it's very old. But people bash New York airport, and I can't say a bad thing about it. So yeah, I mean, lots of good travel opportunities from New York. I mean, you could be in Africa, you can be in Europe in like maximum 6 hour flight. That's really cool. That's a great perk. It is. It is, and I don't think a lot of people realize that. I don't think people realize exactly how close it is. Right. I mean, but yeah. I mean, have you ever seen how many international airlines fly into Newark or JFK? I mean, JFK basically gets like every single international airline out there, right? Like it would be very hard to not find an international airline that doesn't go to JFK. But it'll also from the part of New Jersey I was living in, a Uber to JFK would take me up to like 2.5 hours sometimes. So yeah, I mean the traffic sucks to get there, but like yeah, a lot of people don't realize how close New York is for all those flights. But yeah, all right, guys. So I'm gonna hop over to Instagram. If you'd like to follow me over there, would love to see you over there. Casual Economists, have a good time at the Minnesota at the state fair. Send me a pork chop. I want to see what those things look like. I'm imagining just like this massive hunk of like like a chop swirl or something. Let me know what that looks like. All right, guys. So as always, please take care of yourselves, take care of your families, and I will see you guys again tomorrow. Take care, everybody.